Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. It is so fun to be back.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome
Hey,
back,
thanks.
Mary. Suntan and all.
Yeah, there you go. I was in Florida for a few days, or about a week, and came back, and now it's snowing to beat the band. But I am joined here by Andrea. I always say it wrong.
That's okay.
Tell our viewers.
It's Andrea.
Andrea. But Andrea actually lives part-time down in Fort Myers, Florida, and that's where I had to fly into it, and I just questioned why you ever came back.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Oh, it was wonderful.
It's a lovely spot.
It is, and it's snowing today. And then we have Kendi, and Kendi is
Hello.
going. You were just in
I
Florida
was in Florida over the weekend.
and going to Mexico this coming weekend.
Yes, well, yeah, I leave Thursday, and I'm so excited. Cannot wait.
That is fun. There seems to be a theme going here because guess what? Patty was just in Florida, what, 3 weeks ago?
Last month in March.
In March?
Right, but so I'm already acclimated back to North Dakota. I forgot about the
I'm
palm trees
not.
and all. No,
I'm not
I'm
either.
just still working on it, and yeah, you're a newbie back to North Dakota.
Oh, yes, but it is good to be back. It's good to be amongst friends again, and just, I do miss this. It was, I really missed it while I was gone. So anyway, I just wanted to put
we
that out
missed
there.
you,
Yes,
Mary.
totally.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. But last night, in fact, we were so busy. We're doing these hometown shows, and we haven't made a big announcement on all that yet, but we will in the near future. I just want to give you a little tease that we have this hometown edition that we're going to do. And we were out in one of our local hometowns yesterday, and I forgot all about the Charlie Kirk show. I had tickets to go, and I'm on my way home, and all of a sudden I get this phone call. It's like, Mary, are you coming? And it's like, oh my gosh, is that tonight? I was thinking it was next Monday night, so I had 2 tickets. And I had a friend that was going to go, but she's not feeling well anyway. But regardless, I didn't make it. So do tell me, I know that you got to go.
I did.
And what a privilege I would think.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, it was packed. There were so many people there. It was a really good time.
And so let's just first of all say, Charlie Kirk is the founder of Turning Point USA. And that's a very conservative site, and we actually follow along quite a bit. So why don't you go ahead and dive in for me?
Yeah, so he works primarily with starting student groups on college campuses. Does a lot of speaking. He's a motivational speaker and did a fantastic job of motivating almost everyone there, me included. So it was very, very enjoyable for sure. So
and I know
he had
Carmen
so much
actually
to
went
say.
too. Were you with Carmen?
No, I sat with Neil. He actually came along to an event for once.
Go Neil.
So, and he wasn't sure it was going to be that much fun, but it was a really good time. So,
And this is one of the photos, or a couple photos that Jan had sent us too. So Jan was there. Most of our team went last night. So
Yep. So he did a Q&A with Chris Berg, and then he also had questions from the audience. So it was a really.
So what were some of the major topics that he went over?
He covered all kinds of things. One thing that stood out to me was how can we get involved? How can we make a difference? And what can we do? And it's easy to think that somebody else should do it, that somebody else has some great idea, and that's how we're going to make a difference. But he really highlighted starting your own business, starting manufacturing, like becoming self-reliant, and we can do that in North Dakota. We have all kinds of manufacturing. We're going to have a guest on later talking at least about some of the manufacturing probably in his district, so that'll be exciting. But we're doing this stuff, and we can do more. And we don't have to bring everything in from other states or other countries or anywhere else. Like we can do so much more here and be motivated to do it.
Okay, so one of the texts that I saw coming from several people last night was, if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, somebody had asked him for his advice for how to talk about the pro-life argument, and especially in response to people who are not pro-life. And it's interesting to me because I think back to a lot of like student debates and a lot of those competitive events for high school students especially, they actually disallow it as a topic, and a lot of them where they don't allow you to have that as a topic choice. And I do think that does a disservice to those who support the pro-life side, or any side really. You're not even going to learn how to talk about it, so then you're not going to learn how to support your position. But Charlie Kirk he had 3 suggestions for how to respond to that issue. And the first and perhaps the most powerful was that quote of his, that if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice. And it makes so much sense. Like, of course, you don't have to think about when it's like, is it alive? Is it not alive? Like, science should tell you exactly when it's alive. But what you do know is it's not your body. It's not your DNA. It's not your body. You don't get a choice.
Wow. You know, one thing, I didn't get to go last night, but I talked to several people who did, and seriously, I'm so impressed with Charlie Kirk. I mean, he's such a young kid, and he's motivating us to raise our voice and to stand up against things that we're seeing that we recognize are wrong. And so I'm inspired by him, and I wish that I could have gone last night, because I
You
just
would've
heard.
loved it.
Oh, I know.
I had extra tickets.
You left
I
him.
couldn't go.
I left them at home.
I will say that that I wished I had taken the kids. My oldest has done student congress. He's some interest in politics and history, and I really think that he would have gotten a lot out of that presentation. And the great thing is he actually recorded it, and it's going to be on his podcast, The Charlie Kirk Show. So
Perfect.
you can.
Oh, good. And we can post that then on
Absolutely.
our Facebook page, Ladies of Another View. I'm curious, what was the makeup of the audience? Were there many young people there, young adults?
Well, there was an entire section up front with young Republicans. There was a great turnout from that group, and up in
Excuse
the
me,
balcony.
did they put it on, or who organized it?
No, so it was organized by a couple of moms, several moms actually, and that was part of what Charlie was impressed with actually, because
Moms for the win.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. All these moms getting together to bring something to the community and to share some thoughts and ideas and thinking about stuff and getting that out there. So it was a really fantastic event. The Wires did help promote it, but we did not bring Charlie Kirk. These moms brought Charlie Kirk to Bismarck.
You know what I love?
That's
It
cool.
goes along with what you said, that he said, don't wait for somebody else to do it.
Yep.
But you look at a Charlie Kirk who's so dynamic, and you think, well, I'm no Charlie Kirk. No, but what about those moms that brought him in?
Absolutely.
That was a big thing they did.
Absolutely.
And another big quote that I saw on many people's Facebook pages this morning was, "We are going to win." So
Yep.
tell us about that.
That is more of a commitment, a pledge, and a promise. It's sometimes it's easy to get defeated when things aren't going the way that you expect them to, or the way that you're not hoping them to, and to look around at the world and see that it's not going the way you want. But this was more of a take this, write it down, and then make it happen. And that's why people were posting it, because you're writing it down, and we're gonna make it happen. We are going to win.
There's so much power in thought. I mean, really, it starts with a thought. Whatever we decide we want, we have to think about it, envision it, and it will come into our lives. And I love that he's pointing that out. We are going to win, and we have to believe that, because if we do, it will happen.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Well, I wish we could, talk more about it. I know the other ladies had gone too, but we are running out of time already. But coming up next, we're going to have Representative Sebastian Ertelt, and he's got some interesting things to go over with our Ladies of Another View right here on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have the honor of having Representative Sebastian Ertelt here with us today, and he's going to go over quite a few things. But first of all, you're from Lisbon, and that is District 26, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And
southeast part of the state.
Perfect. And I understand you have to take the Tower City exit?
Well, actually, so it's due south of Tower City, but actually take the Oriska exit and then head south from there on Highway 32.
When you said Tower City, I was so excited because they have the best pie in the world at that truck stop. And if you've never had it, if you've never stopped on your way to Fargo, it's what you have to do. And they have the best strawberry rhubarb crunch pie. But I digress. Anyway, so why don't you tell us a little bit about this vaccine passport that everybody is talking about? It's like we're having one, we're not having one. You know, what's going on?
Sure. Well, I would say probably about 3 to 4 weeks ago, we started to get just a few email messages from constituents, myself, text messages, phone calls as well, asking us, urging us to pass a vaccine passport prohibition. It's, I think, a very legitimate concern, and one that, although may have been spoken of prior to the session, was not, I think, widely circulated as a potential. And so the more that there was talk about it nationally, the more that our citizens here in the state became concerned and wanted the legislature to present a bill.
Well, absolutely, because it seems like everything is changing almost daily when it comes to this passport or the potential of having a passport. We've had friends that went down to Mexico. You're going to Mexico this week, and they have to make sure that they don't have a fever when they return. But if you've had the vaccine, even if you have a fever down there, you can return. And so a lot of it just doesn't make sense. So tell us what you're doing right now.
Well, so I really started by investigating a bit what needed to be done, and actually in the state of Florida, where several of you have traveled to recently, Governor DeSantis signed an executive order that put, I would say, rather stringent prohibition on both the government and the private sector for implementing vaccine passports. And so I started with that as my basis, and from there made some modifications to be in line, I guess, with both existing North Dakota law and taking into account some of the concerns of the different players in that space, I guess, here in North Dakota as well. So I did make some modification for hospitals, actually, healthcare industry in particular, And because it is late in the session, it would either have to go through a delayed bills process where there's a delayed bills committee that would approve it, or get approved by the body in which it's introduced, in this case the House of Representatives, by a 2/3 vote.
So I have a question regarding it. I haven't had a chance to read through the bill. Is there protection? I mean, you mentioned the private sector, and so within the bill, is it stating that this private sector cannot refuse service to anyone who does not show proof of vaccination?
Could you restate that last part again?
Can a business refuse to give service to someone who does not have proof of being vaccinated? Is that built within this?
It is not exactly, I would say.
Okay.
So there's three main provisions to the bill. The first provision is that the government, whether it's a state or local political subdivision, its agents or signs, cannot require vaccine documentation. And it goes a little further into the pathogen, antigen, I guess, existence of that within your body as well. And then on the private sector, there is not a prohibition that they can make a restriction either for their employees or customers. However, the provision that is in the bill is that if they do, they're not eligible for public or funds, state or local, or tax incentives.
Okay.
So it's, and really there, and we did have some discussion on the floor today with an amendment on another bill that actually was, I would say, a weak attempt to do something about the vaccine passport idea. But it's a balance to be had between the rights of the individual and business. And we are, I would say, generally speaking, a pro-business state, and we certainly applaud ourselves at being so. But it's not an ultimate right, I would say, of a business. I mean, you have to balance the business of, or excuse me, the rights of the individual along with that of businesses. And that is really what this bill is attempting to do, to say that businesses, you are allowed to make this restriction or this a requirement of whether it's for your customers or for your employees. But if you do so, the state believes that those individuals have a right to their privacy, and so that if you do that, you're not going to be eligible for public funds.
Oh, wow, that's a big deal.
It actually, I have to say, it kind of concerns me, and I wish that the language were different, only because I look at big box businesses that have so much power where they don't care about public funding. Although I guess it will help the smaller businesses who are reliant on that. But I think about myself, who I don't want to have to show proof of anything. And that it's just another way for them to discriminate against someone like me who doesn't want to do that. So I wish the language were different.
I wouldn't disagree, and I would say that, you know, we were talking about Charlie Kirk being in town last night, and some of the comments that he made, I would say, were rather bold, and it really, I would say, was targeted at corporate America, not all businesses in general, but corporate America. And I think what we see in corporate America is that they are lockstep for the most part with government mandates. So and if you don't mind, if I digress a little bit into the amendment that was offered to House Bill 2124, which had to do with executive agency, or excuse me, just executive powers. The amendment that was placed on there just simply said that government cannot mandate to private entities to require it. So the amendment still allowed the government to do it, still allowed private entities to do it. It just didn't require them to do it. So in essence, I think it really did nothing at all. Right. And we did adopt that today. There was a division of the bill on the House floor. It was, I would say, you know, rather contentious. There was a fair amount of debate over it. I ultimately voted both for the division of the bill to keep that in, and then for the bill as a whole, ultimately, because at least there is something there to work with to hopefully be able to get a little stronger provision in there to protect, I would say, and really it's the rights that are protected by the Fourth Amendment. to be secure in your person and your papers. I think that's really where this all resides.
Okay, so we have less than a minute. So in a nutshell then, this bill they can request to see your documentation, but you don't have to provide it. Is that what this says? Like a business can request, do you have a vaccine passport? But you can say, I may or I may not. I don't have to show it to you if I do.
So it doesn't go that far because of what I explained earlier. The businesses could require that, but it would be only if the business did require it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then the third and final provision in the bill is simply that you would retain your right to access your own information, health information, or that of others that you already have a right to access, which like your children. And then there are some business circumstances where businesses do have access to other individuals' health information. That
Perfect.
would remain.
All right, well, we're going to be right back with more information from Representative Ertelt because there's so much more to cover.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We have been joined by Representative Sebastian Ertelt from Lisbon, North Dakota.
Yes, and thanks for having me.
By the Tower City exit with great pie. But I digress again. Anyway, so just kind of clarify this for us. Just kind of put it in layman's terms to clarify what the bill does and doesn't do.
Sure, I'll try. So it basically provides that the government cannot require vaccine status documentation. Okay. They can still administer it as they are today for any individual who wants to receive the vaccine and issue a card that says that they have it but they cannot require that. And I think that's really the primary goal of those who object to the vaccine passport or any other vaccine documentation. On the business front, although I might feel as though we should go a little further, it is a balance between the individual and the business rights, and it simply provides that if a business decides that they want to require this for their employees or for their customers, then they are not eligible for public funds, whether that be for loans, grants, direct funding, or through tax incentives.
Let's talk about those teeth that
Sure.
it does have, really, for private businesses, because I think that it's easy to forget or miss all of the different ways that businesses, small and large and very, very large, get these tax incentives within the state of North Dakota. So do you have some examples of businesses who are getting tax incentives and maybe need to watch out?
Well, I certainly don't have examples of businesses, but property tax incentives is probably one of the primary, but there are loans as well that I don't know the number of businesses that take advantage of them, and I would guess that it's a lot of big businesses that do that, and I think that typically speaking, it's probably is the larger businesses that are implementing these types of controls. There was actually on the House floor today one mentioned in the oil patch that is requiring their employees to be vaccinated to continue working with them, and that's the real concern. And I think that this is an example of the government or private entities requiring this, that the individual themselves, whether it's for them, for their children, that they're not smart enough to make the decision for their own health. And it's really an elitist attitude that we know better, and you're going to do what we say. And unfortunately, we have, I think, become very dependent on others for employment and for other things, and so then we feel like, well, we have to go along with it, or we're going to lose our job, we're going to lose our livelihood. And that's really that is why that balance is so important to be struck between commerce and the individual, because you can't have commerce lording over the populace. They have to retain some rights, or they are simply becoming enslaved.
Wow. And we were talking during the break, and I always say I can learn something every single day, and I did learn. So with the way the wording was, I felt nervous with it because I just assumed that big box stores, and I won't name any, but we know what they are, who they are, that they would not feel the pressure to conform to this. But you did a very good job of pointing out that they have so many tax breaks, and that there is a huge big box store in Mandan that does not have to pay property taxes.
Yep, years of not having to pay them.
Okay, and so there would be pressure upon them to conform to this, or they would then be required to pay taxes. And so that is comforting to me, and I thank you for the language, because it does scare me, because I don't want to be forced to do this.
Sure.
So thank you.
And I would like to add that we've received, I don't know, hundreds, I would guess, emails, probably each one of the members, at least of the House. I don't know so much about the Senate, if they're receiving the same pressure, I guess, if you will. But I think it is good pressure, and we haven't had many bills this session where there's been such a public outcry to act. And in particular, if I might, throw a thank you out to Health Freedom North Dakota, because I believe they've been really involved in promoting this, and I truly believe that they're just after each individual's rights over their own health decisions, and I think that's a great thing. I think we should really all be embracing that, and it's a little frustrating, in the legislature when you may be painted as anti-business if you put any restriction on whatsoever, and it simply is not the case. It's again just striking that balance. That's really what they're trying to do all the time, and no matter the legislation that we're looking at, it is trying to balance the rights out of different entities.
Right, and a lot of people too, when we talk about the vaccine passport, a lot of people just think it applies to travel. Like you can't travel to this state or that state. Take a look at this little meme that I found regarding travel, because it really reminded me of, it's here they are up above. It says we're a special kind of stupid. We're all these people, they're 6 feet apart, but 30 minutes later they're all jam-packed in an airplane. And so when I think of a vaccine passport, I think of, oh, I can't travel here or I can't travel there, but there's so much more to it. It's about going into different businesses that might require a vaccine verification card for you to do your business there. And that's boy, we're going down.
I would
Certainly.
start
Slippery
choosing
slope.
where
Yes.
I shop.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there are, I should add that there are at least 36 other states who have not necessarily the vaccine passport legislation directly, but some bill dealing with vaccines and, putting some controls on government in their administering of those vaccines or vaccine passports. And there are a couple states that have adopted legislation, both Kentucky, which gives an exemption based on religious grounds or other philosophical grounds, and then Utah, which does prohibit the government from mandating a COVID-19 vaccine, and then other free movement of the individual or participation in other events. So there's definitely action throughout the states, and then there's opposite action as well, where both in New York and California, and I don't know if this is an actual government action, but there is use of vaccine passports in both of those states. So to think that this is some wild idea that's never going to reach us is just simply not true. We do need to take definitive action to prevent it from coming here, because if that argument might have been made about the other lockdowns, masks, etc., I think we saw where that went as well. So I think the time to act is now.
Perfect.
Gosh,
well,
thank
thanks for
you.
letting us know that information and getting it to our viewers. Now, we just have a couple minutes left, and you wanted to talk a little bit about the Senate Bill 2139. So in less than 2 minutes, it's about the neighborhood zones and...
Sure, it started off as a neighborhood zone, so similar to the idea of the Renaissance zones. And I guess when it was seen that it likely was going to be defeated in the House, it was used as a vehicle to give a tax break, if you will, or a reduction in income taxes to the people of the state. So we are going to end up spending maybe a record amount of money this session on the budget, and no tax relief. And so this was a method of trying to get at least some tax relief. It wouldn't be enacted until the second year of the biennium, but it's based on the ending balance after the budget stabilization fund is filled, and then if there are monies beyond that, then that would be able to go to an income tax reduction effort. And so I think it's a good move on the behalf of the legislature to do that. We've passed it in the House today. It will go over to the Senate, maybe met with some resistance there, but I do hope that there are some open ears, because when we continue to increase government spending drastically, I think we do need to look at the people who are paying taxes and again, strike a balance there.
Perfect. Wow. Well, we do want to thank you for being here. Unfortunately, we ran out of time again. It always happens, but we appreciate everything that you're doing for the community and for our state of North Dakota. We'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Back.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve. Through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. We just wanted to make a point that tomorrow that bill is going to be heard regarding the passports. And if you, as a viewer, wants to go ahead and get involved, show up at the Capitol. It should start about 1, but get there about noon to go ahead and get a good seat and support the people that are supporting this for us, for our state. We should all have that choice.
Yeah, and it's a good way for us to let our representatives know that we care about this issue and that we're watching them.
100%. Okay, we're going to jump quickly into our next topic, and I guess the Chauvin verdict is in, but it's not going to be read until later, so we don't know when it's going to be read, but it might be a day or two before they let the public know. And that scares me because it's like they're, I guess, preparing for the verdict on either side as to what may or may not happen. And I've never heard of it where they wait a day or two to read a verdict. Have you guys?
I'm not aware, yeah.
That's weird. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into, because we have so much to cover in this segment. This is from Tucker Carlson last night. Take a peek at this.
Waters has never believed in Western justice. For decades, she supported the totalitarian government of Cuba, which replaced jury trials with summary mass executions, murdering entire groups of people. And that was fine with Maxine Waters. She's never had a problem with killing political enemies. Waters is now among the most powerful Democrats in Congress. Over the weekend, she traveled to Minneapolis to make certain the mob outside the Chauvin trial understood its marching orders.
We've got to not only stay in the street, but we've got to fight for justice. But I am very hopeful, and I hope that we're going to get a verdict that say guilty, guilty, guilty. I don't know whether it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first degree. Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
We've got to make sure they know we mean business, she said. Well, that couldn't be clearer. Do what we say or we'll kill you. That's the message. Maxine Waters doesn't have much use for those Anglo-Saxon civic traditions like jury trials. Her demand was very clear. Convict Officer Derek Chauvin of first-degree murder or we will burn it down. What is this called? Well, it's called jury intimidation. Inside the courtroom, Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill got that message. Cahill is not a right-winger. Cahill once worked for Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar, but he knows a threat when he sees one.
I'm aware of the media reports. I'm aware that Congresswoman Waters was talking specifically about this trial and about the unacceptability of anything less than a murder conviction, and talk about being confrontational, but you can submit the press articles about that. This goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case, especially in a manner that is disrespectful to the rule of law and to the judicial branch and our function. I think if they want to give their opinions, they should do so in a respectful and in a manner that is consistent with their oath to the Constitution, to respect a co-equal branch of government. Their failure to do so, I think, is abhorrent.
Just hours after Maxine Waters called for violence, someone tried to murder 2 National Guardsmen in Minneapolis in a drive-by shooting.
So interesting, right? She could just go in and say whatever she wants. She actually went there and intentionally did this rally after midnight because there was a 10 o'clock curfew. So she marches into the city with protection, with police surrounding her so that she has protection and gets everyone all fired up. I'm speechless.
I was in Minneapolis this weekend. I couldn't believe that she would say these things. I couldn't believe that. I think that the judge said that if they do end up having an appeal, that they can bring Maxine's words in, because that was unacceptable, the way that whole thing was handled. She had no business being there. She had no business making the statements she did. And she's saying the exact kinds of things that she was trying to impeach Trump for. I was like, are you kidding me?
But there's a difference. Trump said to fight, meaning, fight for what's right, but he continually said to be peaceful. Maxine never said to be peaceful.
She said to get in the streets.
She wants to
more
increase
confrontational.
More confrontational. Well, gee, there's already rioting. There were murders, riots, looting last summer. So how do you get more confrontational than that?
We know that the left, I'm going to use the left side, they love to stir the people up. They want to create chaos. They want us to tear down and burn down our cities. Like, they do not care about America. And they have this agenda that is, they are hell-bent on destroying us. And so I just have to go back to what Charlie Kirk said. We are going to win. We have to believe this. We're not going to win, I hope, through violence. I hope it's by the people standing up against what the left is trying to do to us as Americans. We cannot let this happen. So we're going to see things happen. The media is going to twist, and they're going to paint this picture that's not accurate. They're going to make us think that America is like completely gone insane, and maybe we have, but
some
I
people
don't
have.
think so.
Okay, Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker, said that Maxine doesn't owe anybody an apology.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Let's take
However,
it. Oh, go
okay,
ahead.
well, the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, wants to have her censored. So amen to that. Like,
Amen.
because Pelosi won't take any action and says, oh, no, what she said was fine. But go ahead.
Go ahead. We have another clip I want to get to real quickly.
So once more, for the second time in less than a year, BLM is burning the state of Minnesota. Now, Maxine Waters knew that when she showed up, and that's why, according to documents obtained by Town Hall, she demanded government bodyguards on her way to Minneapolis. Police escort in and out, reads her request. It's almost hard to process facts like these. Calling for violence even as you demand that taxpayers protect you from the violence you're calling for. Whipping a dangerous mob into a frenzy at the very same moment you are trying to eliminate the police and then disarm the population through gun control. What is that? Well, it's totalitarian, and we should be honest about it.
Just crazy.
Does it matter that she lives in a gated community? And
she has
very
false
high income
eyelashes. I mean, I noticed that. I'm sorry. She is a woman of privilege. And yet she is like stirring the people up, people who have nothing, and destroying everything they have. It's just
She doesn't have to live in those neighborhoods that have been burned down and looted. She goes back to her very, go look up her, Maxine Waters' house. It's very nice.
Very privileged lifestyle.
Very privileged lifestyle. She goes back to her nice, comfortable home where she can get security guards if she steps into a war zone, and they have to stay there and live there.
Right, so let's take a look at her, her quote that she had said today. I do what needs to be done, Maxine Waters responds to the criticism in her violent rhetoric. So that's what she said. I just do what needs to be done. And then you had mentioned Pelosi. I'd also grabbed a quote from Pelosi. If we can grab that real quick. Pelosi, no, I don't think she should apologize. And then they said, well, do you think that her comments incite violence, though? And Pelosi said, no, absolutely not. I mean, how could that not incite violence? She's telling people to go march in the streets and do not obey a curfew and get out there, get on the streets, and do what you need to be heard.
And be more confrontational.
And be more confrontational.
More confrontational.
Now here's something almost funny, but not quite. Representative Lisa McClain of Michigan said she accused Waters of openly calling for violence in Minnesota. And she argued that if a Republican had said this, the Democrats would be all over it. So you know what Waters' reaction was? McClain owes her an apology for saying that.
Oh, really?
I said it's almost funny.
That is funny. It's hilarious. It's actually hilarious.
The irony of it. It's just...
I don't think that there is an outcome that people like Maxine Waters will be happy with.
No.
Tucker's making assumptions about what he thinks Maxine wants. I don't think Maxine knows what she wants.
Well, she wants a first-degree murder, and that's not even on the table.
So then she doesn't. So there's no version in which she gets what she wants. So regardless, it's not going to be pretty.
It's not going to be pretty.
No. I think, honestly, she just enjoys watching the people be stirred up. She likes being the ringleader of it all. She really could care less about the people. It's just about creating chaos in people's lives. That's my humble opinion.
Right. She's not one with them.
Right. So anyway, got me into a high blood pressure state here. I need to go back to Florida, I think. But we're going to come back with our lighter side after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having flea stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. This brings us to our lighter side. And
Thank you.
Right? I know that last part was so heavy. It just got me wound up.
But we can't stay there. We do
Yeah,
have to take
it's lighter.
We're not
Come on,
there.
we're lighter
We're
side.
lighter. We're floating.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have 4 sisters. I'm actually the 5th girl in my family, and then I have a younger brother. And so when I saw this, it's hilarious. Take a peek.
Did you borrow my shirt?
Okay, but don't tell Mom.
Get out of my room! Don't worry, I'll pay you back. Can I have some?
Are you gonna finish that?
I'm not telling you anything ever again.
Stop copying me.
Stop borrowing my clothes. You're stretching everything out. Hold on, I'm peeing.
This is on you, right?
You think he's cute? Can I have some? What are you wearing? I'm doing something. Get it yourself. Can I borrow this? Did you borrow my shirt? Is that what you're wearing? Yeah, I love you too.
I really want your opinion. Okay, but I really don't care what you think. Why are you looking at me?
Ooh, can I have some?
Oh my God, get away.
Wait, are those my shoes? Oh my God, I'm gonna kill you. Just hurry up. Ha ha ha. Joke's on you. You stuck with me.
Is that my sweater?
You sound just like Mom.
Everyone in this family knows that I'm the favorite. No one talks to my sister like that but me.
So that's so adorable. I mean, 32 things. I think there's more than 32 things that my sisters told me. But I just found it endearing and funny and just so truthful because I also have 2 daughters and I can see both of them arguing like that.
Oh yeah. Yep. I have to tell my sister, I love you and you're stuck with me.
Oh. Well, it's funny, when we were walking to come to the studio, we are wearing the same color today, and I started singing the song from White Christmas, and I'm not going to do it on air, but you know, sisters, okay, I am sisters, you know, they're doing the fan thing. There's something about being a sister, and I have 2 sisters. I'm the oldest. I wasn't super close to them because they're at the tail end and there's 6 kids, but I've seen those type of actions that were in the film. I saw it in my daughters. So, but me too. Like, I'm always like, you wore my shirt.
Yes.
And now it smells.
That was like the biggest theme of that. And we had 3 girls in our family, and my one sister, Colleen, we never used to fight except when it came to clothes.
Oh yeah.
When we were teenagers, we would fight over wearing each other's clothes, and the same with my 2 daughters. Even the boys, 2 of the boys were so close they never fought until the teenage years. They would fight because somebody had, all my boys, they would fight with each other if somebody was wearing their clothes. Sacred territory.
Absolutely.
It's kind of funny now because even my daughters, they'll take clothes out of my closet and it's like, I'll bump into them, you know, whatever they're doing. It's like, oh my gosh, you have my shirt on. And it's like, did you ask permission?
Mary,
so
you're so cool if your girls are wearing your clothes.
Agree.
Gotcha. Okay, girls. But I remember growing up here in the Bismarck area, there was a store called My Sister's Closet, and it was a junior store, and it was down where the White Drug is now, downtown in that big building. I don't know what that building's called, but we used to go there. It was kind of it was so true because it's my sister's closet. It's like going to shop somewhere rather than going to buy it. Just go to your sister's closet.
Love it. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't borrow that many clothes from my sister, but we borrowed other things. Usually her CDs. That's usually what I took.
Awesome.
We started establishing rules, and if something hadn't been worn yet, if there's a tag on it, don't touch it.
Oh,
that's a good rule.
And we were supposed to ask permission. It's like, what's the big deal? Well, every once in a while they would say no, and you couldn't take that chance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you just figured, you know, apologize later and don't ask.
Yeah. But we also had like an imaginary line down our bedroom, I should say, that you couldn't cross that side because we had to share a room, but you still wanted your own space.
Yeah.
We tried that, but you can't really divide the doorway super well.
Not real well.
You know, now that I'm at this point in my life, I mean, me and my sisters were all grown. We've actually reached a really healthy space. And so For those of you who are raising daughters, maybe you don't have sisters, and so you're like, oh my gosh, are they ever going to like each other?
They do.
The day comes where you actually like each other, and I'm so grateful I have sisters in my life because, man, they've saved me. I love them.
Right, it's not the end of the story. And I suppose boys are different than girls. Mary, you have 2 of each.
Well, I have 2 of each, but I think it's the same thing. It's like, it might be like a sporting, a basketball. Don't use my basketball, or don't use this, or you can't drive, you can't drive my car. And, those type of things. But I think it's just siblings in general. But I just thought the voice, the connotation in their voices, it was like I could picture every one of those events happening. It's like, I'm going to tell Mom.
Yeah, it's like tell Mom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm her favorite.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like,
Definitely
it's
Mom's
just
favorite.
the little snarky connotations in the voices that really, really made me roll on that.
Oh, yeah.
Those conversations where my kids are talking about, well, you're the favorite. Oh, no, you're the favorite. I love sitting back and just like,
yeah, I am the favorite.
I think it's interesting to see who you guys think is the favorite, because honestly, I don't have a favorite at all.
I can't imagine having a favorite.
Yeah. It's just, those are interesting
you just love them all.
conversations.
There's something you love about each one that is just so unique. And sorry, you are my favorite
at this moment.
Yes. Well, but like the rest of them, they can't compete. You're my favorite that.
Yes. I always say, you are my favorite Zach.
Yes.
You're my favorite Blake. I named them by name. Like, of course, you are my favorite that name.
If they're kidding or want to know who's their favorite, I say, whoever's cleaning the house, you are my favorite, so get started.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Right.
Might use that.
And it's so true, because I always say they're like a litter of puppies. They're all mine, but they're all very different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Thank goodness, too.
Sure.
That they're different.
Yeah.
It'd be less interesting.
Yes.
We're coming up at the end of our show, and we are so glad that you all joined us again today. And, there's a lot of things going on, but we have to end by saying we will win.
Yes.
Good is always going to overcome evil. So.
And remember, go to the Capitol tomorrow at noon, right?
Yeah.
To
And if
show
you can make it to
support
the
for
Capitol tomorrow at noon to go ahead and help protect our rights, go ahead and do that. Get there by noon, and it should start right around 1 o'clock. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Ladies of Another View on VAC.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.